We have made it to the trade deadline here in the Portland Trailblazers, MyNBA franchise here on NBA 2K24. Our team has obviously gotten off to a great start here in season number 3, and we've proven that this strong start is not a fluke. Rather, this team looks like they can contend for an NBA championship. We're 37-12, coming off a really strong month of January, despite the fact that we've been without two of our best players, Shaedon Sharpe and Anthony Simons, for basically the entire month. Well, both of them are now healthy, and the roster is at full strength for the first time since pretty much the first game of the year. The impressive part about our 37-12 record is that we've had key players injured throughout basically the entire duration of the season. We're 4.5 games back of the Houston Rockets, who had the best record in the league, and we play against them on the road today. As for the Eastern Conference, is a lot more clustered and a lot worse, to put it nicely. The West seems to be where all the talent is, which again makes our record all the more impressive. So going into the trade deadline, we've really got to figure out how we want to go about this, because we have a great young core. We clearly have built this team the right way, and I don't want to ruin a good thing by forcing a trade. However, given an opportunity to upgrade, I feel like we would also be foolish not to take that if the offer's a good one. We're going to start by simulating through the game here against the Rockets before making it to the trade deadline officially. And along with that, we will go through the 2026 NBA All-Star Draft, which is kind of interesting because you'd think the second best team in the league would have an All-Star, but that's not the case. Now, Shaedon Sharpe has missed a large duration of the year, but I don't think there's any excuse for Scoot Henderson to not be an All-Star, especially with how he has performed here in January. But I guess that's going to be more fuel to the fire. Number one options on bad teams are getting in over some of the best players on one of the best teams. We've got a few guys with better numbers than the players who made the All-Star team, which is weird because better numbers plus better team success equals All-Star, right? You'd think. During our simulation, we would get offer a trade, and boy, it's an interesting one. Tyrese Maxey from the 76ers in exchange for Anthony Simons and Ochai Agbaji. Now, this is a really tempting trade because Tyrese Maxey is an awesome player, but I don't see why the Sixers would do this. And again, I want to keep things realistic. The Sixers are not trading Tyrese Maxey for 2 expiring contracts. So we would end up losing to the Rockets, meaning we lose the season series against them 2-1. But it is progress considering every time we played these guys last year, we got blown out. And unfortunately, we had the lead going into the fourth quarter, but we blew it. Jalen Hudson led the way with 30 on just 12 field goal attempts en route to the victory. And that'll bring us now officially to the trade deadline. I think it's actually officially on the 5th, but I wanted to play the game against the Pacers, and I want to do that after the deadline. So we're making the unofficial trade deadline now instead. And as we look at this roster again, we've got a lot of really good young pieces. These guys clearly fit well together, and we have the assets to go out and make a splash. But I don't want to force a trade just to make one. I want to make an upgrade that would legitimately help this team in the short term and the long term as well. I would hate to ruin something great just because we felt pressure to go out and make a big move. But again, given the opportunity, I feel like we have to be aggressive. We do have a number of expiring contracts, which could be some intriguing assets to potentially flip. Ochai Agbaji, DeAndre Ayton, Anthony Simons, and Shaedon Sharpe are all free agents. Now, it's a given that Shaedon Sharpe is going to be back, so we can cross him off the list. But if we look at the other 3, you can make an argument that one or multiple of these guys could be trade assets. I imagine DeAndre Ayton's going to want somewhat big money this offseason, and we know for a fact Anthony Simons wants big money because we can re-sign him now, but his asking price is nearly $32 million, which I feel like is a lot of money for a 6th man. Both Simons and Ayton are unrestricted. At least with Ochai Agbaji, he is restricted, so I think it would make more sense to hold on to him long term. But regardless, these 2 guys are going to cost a lot of money, so I want to explore the trade market with Simons and or DeAndre Ayton. There were some very weird offers in here. We could have gotten Kawhi Leonard. I want to find a deal that's obviously realistic for both teams, but also benefits us. I think this one with Karl Anthony Towns is probably the most interesting one here. And then with DeAndre Ayton, there are some interesting deals here. We can get Damian Lillard and Bam Adebayo. There's no reason the Heat would do that, so we're not going to take it. But it is an awfully interesting idea. We can also get Devin Booker. We can get Chet Holmgren and a top draft pick. But again, we want to keep it realistic. Those teams are not making those specific trades. So I decided to do some digging on my own and trying to figure out which players will make the most sense. If we go out and make a splash, I think it would make the most sense to look at somebody who's obviously on a bad team, but also a front court player. I think we could look to add some more size. And doing some digging, I think there are two somewhat realistic options who could be upgrades to Ayton. The first of which, Karl-Anthony Towns. Good, proven player. He can stretch the floor at a high level. The one problem with him is that he's on a big contract. And then there's Bam Adebayo. The Miami Heat have been pretty disappointing this season. I could see them looking to shuffle the deck. And with Bam Adebayo being a free agent in the offseason, the Heat probably don't feel indebted to him. And I'd be willing to take a shot on a guy like him, especially considering the Heat are in 10th place. And I could see them wanting to flip some guys around, try to change up this roster, add some more depth, like possibly Anthony Simons or DeAndre Ayton. I put Bam in the trade finder, and I wasn't interested in most of these trades individually. This trade on paper would be a really good one for us, but again, I don't see why the Heat would do that. And I'd rather not give up Ochai Agbaji if I don't have to. I think it would make more sense for us and Miami to look at an Anthony Simons, DeAndre Ayton-led package. They're obviously not going to do it straight up, and I wouldn't be willing to do those two just for Bam. The problem, though, is that there isn't really anybody else I'd want other than Myron Sheridan. Obviously, the Heat aren't going to do that. They don't have their draft picks because we have control of those. So we're kind of in a sticky situation here. How can we make this work? I think the best way to do it would be to throw a third team in there. What about the Toronto Raptors? We could look to acquire some depth off the bench with Grady Dick. The Raptors are interested, but the Heat say no. Miami would be getting DeAndre Ayton, Nikola Jovic, and some draft picks, and they don't seem like they want to do it. I'm going to try to up this offer, but I don't want to overpay. I don't want to give up a boatload of draft picks. I even let the Heat get Obi Toppin instead of us. They still say no. Even with the additional draft picks, they're still not interested. And they'd be giving up Jaime Jaquez Jr., who has like a 34% field goal percentage. He's like a net negative for them. So I decided to add Dennis Schroeder to the trade finder, and there wasn't anything super interesting. I put just Simons, Ayton, and a draft pick in, and again, it's a lot of the same. We can get Damian Lillard and Bam Adebayo, but again, that doesn't really make sense. I went back to the idea with a 3-team deal with the Toronto Raptors, and it still wasn't really working. Now both teams are no longer interested. I tried maybe moving Ayton to Toronto. Still doesn't really work out. And, well, I don't think it's going to happen with the Raptors. What about Jaden Hardy with Dallas? I think he'd be a good replacement for Simons as our bucket getter off the bench. Dallas needs a center. They say no. New Orleans has expressed interest in DeAndre Ayton. What about a guy like Herb Jones? They say no. I take stuff out of the deal. They still say no. What about the Nets? The Heat would be adding Yusuf Nurkic. We'd be getting back Keontae George. And they say no. I don't think this is going to work out. I don't think there's a way we can realistically get Bam Adebayo. I tried to throw some guys in the trade finder one last time, and I couldn't really find anything. I don't want to force a trade and give up a lot of depth for Bam Adebayo and some crappy role player that the Miami Heat have. So I don't think this is going to work. I don't want to force the issue, and for now, we are going to stay pat. Maybe we make some last-second phone calls, but it looks like DeAndre Ayton and Anthony Simons are going to stay put. I tried to make a big splash, but again, I don't think it would be in our best interest to force the issue. And I really like our team the way it is, and I'm willing to ride it out with these guys the rest of the way. Let's take a look at some trades around the league, though. We've got some big ones. The Trae Young era in Atlanta is finally over. The Hawks were really good in Season 1 of this series. They traded for Pascal Siakam, and ever since then, the train has fallen off the tracks really hard. They lost Siakam that following free agency. Last offseason, they traded away DeJounte Murray. It was only a matter of time until Trae Young was next, and here he is as an expiring contract, headed to the Chicago Bulls, the same team he ended up on in our Knicks franchise last year. They'll be getting Lushashiv Yakovlev, a rookie guard from Russia, along with Dalen Terry, and 2 1s and 2 2s, while the Bulls will also get back Buddy Hield, along with Trae Young, to add some floor spacing. The Bulls have been one of the most pleasant surprises in the NBA this year, and now they've got quite the big three on their squad, obviously headlined by Trae Young, but they've also got world-renowned Nobel Peace Prize-level citizens in child predator Josh Giddey and woman abuser Miles Bridges. What a wholesome team. They've got the big three of child predator, woman hitter, and Trae Young, who's just really short, which might be even worse than both of those things. I can say that as a short king myself. The next deal we have here is Mikal Bridges going to the Oklahoma City Thunder. The Nets have been pretty mediocre over the past few seasons, and Mikal Bridges is an expiring contract as well. They're going to get pretty much the same haul in terms of value that Atlanta got with Trae Young from the Oklahoma City Thunder, headlined by Emmanuel Quickley, rookie Prada Pilares, who, if you remember, we almost drafted, 2 1s and 2 2s. Could Mikal Bridges be the final piece for this Oklahoma City Thunder roster? Obviously, they signed Brandon Ingram in the offseason, and now they add another big-time wing. Their starting lineup looks nasty. SGA, Bridges, Ingram, Jalen Williams, and Chet Holmgren. That's frightening. The last deal we've got here involves the Orlando Magic and the Utah Jazz. Tyler Hero is going to Orlando. So the Jazz were obviously part of the Damian Lillard trade as the third team. They acquired Tyler Hero, who's been really good for them. The thing with this Jazz team is they get big-time assets, and then they flip them for more assets. That's the Danny Ainge way. They'll be getting 2 former lottery picks in Tyson Ledbetter and Jet Howard, along with a first and a second. The Magic, along with getting Tyler Hero, will also acquire Draymond Green. Yes, Draymond is on the Jazz. The Magic are going to add another veteran presence, and who else other than world-renowned teammate Draymond Green. Orlando now is a legit big three with Paolo Banchero, Franz Wagner, and Tyler Hero, along with all the other young pieces they've added. This team could be one of the scariest in the Eastern Conference. So those are going to be the big moves here around the trade deadline, and it's worth noting that a lot of the other top teams around the league all ended up standing pat, just as we did. The Rockets didn't want to change anything, so they ended up sticking with what they have. The Spurs, Hornets, and Grizzlies did not touch their teams. The Pelicans, we inquired with them about DeAndre Ayton, but they were not willing to move off of Herb Jones. So yes, I know we're going to have some tough decisions going into next offseason, whether or not we re-sign guys like Anthony Simons, DeAndre Ayton, and Ochai Agbaji, but those are going to be things that we worry about in the offseason. So I ended up making some phone calls, and we were actually able to make a last-second trade, sending Dennis Schroeder back to the Oklahoma City Thunder for 2 second-round picks. And the reason why I'm doing this is I believe we can get an upgraded backup point guard in free agency with Russell Westbrook, who's been sitting here, and I think he's a better player than Dennis Schroeder. So why not get a couple of late draft picks for Schroeder and then sign Russ? I edited his rating a little bit just so we could sign him. I know that's cheating technically, but there's no reason for Russell Westbrook to be asking for $20 million considering no one's picked him up all year. That doesn't really make sense. So I edited his stuff, we signed him, and then I moved him back up to a 78. He'll be competing for minutes at the end of the bench with Dante Branch. Obviously kind of a fall from grace for Russ, but at this stage of his career, he's looking to win. He's never won a championship, and, well, that's probably his main focus. So let's take a look at our next matchup here against the Pacers, who are legitimately a pretty good team. 4th in the Eastern Conference. They have the 3rd highest point differential, obviously led by the duo of Tyrese Halliburton and the recently signed Lauri Markkanen. They've got some intriguing depth pieces and a lot of young guys on this team contributing, like Benedict Mathurin and Jarris Walker, who are big pieces of the starting lineup, and former lottery picks such as Caden Kao and Marvin Kamara, who are giving them some solid rotation minutes. This is the first of a 5-game road trip for Portland leading into the All-Star break. We then face off against Detroit, Golden State, and the Thunder twice. The Warriors are obviously super banged up with Steph Curry and Donovan Mitchell out, but those other 3 games should prove to be pretty tough, along with this one. The Pacers, as we said, are a really, really solid team. Obviously, Halliburton and Markkanen are a great duo. And this core really seems to be able to lead the Pacers into the future. They're already currently 4th in the East. And you got to imagine this roster is going to continue to get better and better. Regular starters for the Blazers. Khalil Griffin starting over Ochai Agbaji, I guess, is now semi-regular, as we'll continue to have those guys switch in and out of the starting small forward spot. Bol Bol wins the tip, and we are underway here in Indiana. We'll see who can score first. Bol Bol hands it off for Tyrese Halliburton. Halliburton sends it on the wing for Benedict Mathurin. He drills the triple, and it's the Pacers who score first. Ayton gets it over to Scoot Henderson, drives by Halliburton. Scoot, no good at the rim. Ayton with the offensive rebound, and the big fella gets the putback. Sharp running the floor, looks inside for Ayton. He's snuffed at the rim. Bol Bol with the rejection, And here comes the Pacers on the other end. Tyrese Halliburton with it, hoping somebody gets open. He's got a mismatch inside. It's Jarris Walker, guarded by Khalil Griffin. Walker snuffed at the rim by Sprenger. Gets it back to Halliburton for three, no good. Walker with the rebound. His shot's no good. Another rebound. That's a third offensive rebound on the possession for the Pacers. Walker pulls it from 35, and he misses it. That might have been the most dreadful 30 seconds of offense I've ever seen. Khalil Griffin looks to stop the scoring drought as the rookie out of the University of Tennessee is in for the slam, and we're tied at 5. Here comes Halliburton inside. Drives by Scoot Henderson, and Halliburton sends it home to put the Pacers back ahead. It's now 7-5. Scoot looking across the floor for Griffin. Drives by Markkanen, and Griffin again with that two-handed slam. Quick start for Griffin as it's 7-9. Ball brings it up out to Halliburton for three. Knocks it down. That jump shot may not be pretty, but the ball goes in the hoop. Halliburton with it, tightly guarded by Sharp. Step back, looking to beat the buzzer, and he got it off! Tyrese Halliburton with a ridiculous three. He is off to a big start tonight for the Pacers. 15-9 now. Here's Simons with the slam over Benedict Mathurin. What a dunk by Simons, quickly making a play off the bench as it's 15-11. Simons with it. Step back jumper is good. Anthony Simons saw his name in those trade rumors. He's trying to show everybody that, yeah, I've been out of the lineup for 30 games, but remember me? I'm pretty good. Here's Jarris Walker on the wing. Drills the triple as the Blazers call a timeout. Indy leads by 7. Strong start for the Pacers. Russell Westbrook is into the game. His first minutes as a Blazer, and his opening possession ends off with an assist as it's Ochai Agbaji in for the layup. 20-15 now. Here's Simons, hands it off for Sharp. Over to Russell Westbrook with the off-ball cut. Quick start for the former MVP. Rock the baby, Russ. It's 22-17. Inside for Lowry Markkanen, pushes Shaedon Sharp, and Markkanen takes advantage of the mismatch. The Pacers are one of the biggest teams in the league, while the Blazers are one of the smaller teams. Not a good mismatch in terms of size for Portland. Trey Mann, the lead guard off the bench, drills a three on the move for Indy, and the lead's now at 10. Here comes Sharp in the corner for Ochai Agbaji, who drills the three for the Trailblazers to bring us back within 7. Trey Mann with it, tightly guarded inside for Jarris Walker, now guarded by Agbaji. And again, big-time mismatch here. Jarris Walker is bigger and stronger than these wing defenders that the Blazers have. 6-point game now. Sprenger, final moments of the first quarter. His shot is no good as it's the Indiana Pacers who lead by 6, 29-23. Slow start for Portland, especially on offense, but it does look like they are starting to get a little bit more comfortable. Into the second now. Caden Ko drills the three. Second-year wing out of the University of Connecticut. 9-point game. Ko with it again. Inside, it's Xavier Tillman. Out to the big man, Marvin Kamara. He drills the three. Kamara, a lottery pick out of USC a couple seasons ago. Good ball movement here by Portland. Scoot Henderson inside. Scoot with the and one. It's Tillman called for the foul, and Scoot Henderson's finally on the board. 9-point game. Nice handoff here for Tyrese Halliburton. On the wing, it's Bruce Brown, who drills the triple for Indiana. 26-38 now. Darius Sprenger, spin move. Sprenger, nice move inside for the layup. Darius Sprenger had quite the episode last time around. He had a 46-point game against the Heat, a career high, and then his first career triple-double against the Nuggets. Here's Kamara, pump fake. Kamara with the slam. Big-time dunk by Marvin Kamara. 10-point game now. Here comes Brown with it. Tightly guarded inside by the rookie, Dante Branch. Doesn't matter. Bruce Brown makes a nice play, and it's a 12-point game. Shot clock winding down. Springer's three, no good. And he appears to be on the ground in pain. In transition, 5-on-4 here for the Pacers. Somebody's going to be wide open. It's Halliburton. Drills the three. And now the Blazers call time down by 15. Obviously, the bigger story, Darius Springer's injured ankle. He hasn't missed a game all season. And now he gets hurt for the first time this season. Nice layup by Isaiah Stewart. 13-point game. Halliburton no good. Grabs his own rebound. And Hallie's there for the putback. The Pacers have won the battle on the glass. Portland's one of the best rebounding teams in the league. Today they've really struggled in that area. Griffin loses it. It's stolen by the Pacers. Halliburton with it. Up the floor with the layup. And Indiana adds to their lead as this game continues to be even more doom and gloom for Portland. Here is Sharp inside for Anthony Simons, who's in for the layup. Simons has looked good so far. Can't really say the same for anybody else, but at least he's producing. Markkanen's doubled. Halliburton wide open in the corner. Drills the three. Portland's got to figure out how to guard him. He has been on fire in this first half. How is he left that wide open? Lead is now at 21 as Scoot Henderson looks to respond with a dunk. But right now, the Trailblazers are really not looking good. We'll see if Indy can add to the lead. Halliburton off the screen actually misses, but it doesn't matter because the big man, Bol, is under there for the putback. 36-57. Here is Scoot Henderson looking to make a play. Sends it over to Simons on the wing for three. Inferno beats the shot clock. Lead back down to 18. Here's Markkanen inside. A little pick and pop action as Jarris Walker is in for the dunk. Pacers ahead by 20. Simons lobs it up for the rookie, Khalil Griffin. My God, can he jump up high? I mean, his head was nearly at the level of the rim. Griffin showing off his incredible athletic ability as it's 41-59. Man goes inside for Jarris Walker. He's snuffed at the rim by Khalil Griffin, but he gets back his own offensive rebound, and Jarris Walker makes the hook shot. Good play there by Walker as it's 41-61. Here comes Sharp inside. It's a bird! It's a plane! No, it's just Shaedon Sharp. I thought Canadians were peaceful. It's a Canada on Canada crime as Sharp posterizes his fellow Canadian, Benedict Mathurin. 43-63. Here's Sharp on the wing, looking to get hot here late in the first half as he's in for the layup. Shaedon Sharp with only 2 points prior to the big dunk. We'll see if he can look to finally catch fire. Here's Walker inside, guarded by Griffin, just using his sheer strength to get the layup. Jarris Walker, the third-year pro at the University of Houston, a guy whose game I was a big fan of coming out of college, and he's really developed into a good player here in Indiana. Final seconds here in the half. Simons pulls a three. Bang! Anthony Simons drills the three for Portland, and that'll wrap up what has been mostly a disastrous first half. 65-48. The Blazers are not looking good defensively. They're not looking good on offense. Portland is 3 for 11 from 3 today. The Pacers are 10 for 18 from 3. The big reason why we're losing is because Indiana is not only winning the battle beyond the perimeter, but they're also winning the rebounding battle as well. Unfortunately for us, Darius Springer suffered a minor ankle injury. He'll be fine, but it's really not worth having him play through the injury, so his day is done. And the Blazers are going to be without one of their key players the rest of the way. Bol with the dunk, 50-67 now. If Portland wants to start a comeback, they better get rolling quickly. Scoot inside for Ayton as he fakes out the Pacers on the pick and roll. Indy still leads comfortably, 52-71. Here comes Sharp inside, passes it for the big man, Isaiah Stewart. Now, realistically, Portland wants to have the size to combat Indiana, but they don't necessarily have enough depth in the front court, so it's going to be a challenge without Springer. As Scoot Henderson makes the three off the assist by Sharp, 57-71. Halliburton inside for Jarris Walker, guarded by Henderson. I mean, what is Scoot supposed to do? Walker's bigger and stronger as he makes the play. It's a 16-point game. Simons with the screen. He's going to take it himself with a little rack attack. He had Griffin open on the pick and roll, but he also had an open lane for himself, too. Bol at the rim. No good. Nice defensive stop by Kevon Looney. Griffin with the rebound, looks to run the floor himself as he sends a smooth kiss off the glass, and the lead is down to 12. Portland's looking pretty good here in this third quarter. Agbaji inside, no good. Grabs his own rebound. Ochai Agbaji doing the dirty work as he's in for the putback. Agbaji's been a big impact defensively here in this third quarter. Portland has had him guard Halliburton, who hasn't played as well. Now, he does hit the jumper there, but part of the reason why the Blazers' defense has been a lot better out at the halftime break is because they have Agbaji on Halliburton. Here's Bol guarded by Looney in for the layup. Bol is a lot taller than him, and so he'll take advantage of the mismatch. Halliburton for three, no good as his cold quarter continues. Griffin with the rebound, crossover inside. Griffin, oh my God! Bol sent that ball to the moon! An incredible block by the big fella as the Pacers get it back. Here's Halliburton off the screen. He just needs a little bit of space to fire that one away as it's an 18-point lead. Portland was really starting to make a comeback too, and now it's right back to square one. Ayton was doubled, then he loses it. Had multiple open shooters on the corner, but he can't pass it out. Halliburton sends it inside for Benedict Mathurin. The layup is good, and the Pacers are ahead by 20. make it 18. Here's Markkanen on the wing, guarded by Griffin. That's a mismatch. Markkanen's a 7-footer playing the 3, and he will take advantage. Markkanen's offensive versatility is a really big deal. Obviously, he's got the quickness on the wing. He can shoot the ball at a high level, but he can also use his size down low with smaller defenders. There's Griffin, who makes a nice layup. Griffin's played pretty solid, especially here in the second half. 68-86 now. Here comes Shaedon Sharpe. Misses an open layup. Shaedon Sharpe really has not been good at all today. He hasn't really been himself entirely since coming back from the injury. He's had a few pretty lackluster games so far. Into the fourth, Portland looking to catch fire. Shaedon Sharpe finally drills a 3. 73-86. Can Portland begin their comeback effort? Kamara dunks it over Kevon Looney. Nice play there by Kamara as the lead is up to 15. Interestingly, the Pacers have kept Halliburton in the entire second half. We have needed Ochai Agbaji to stay in the game to shadow him. Agbaji played the entire third quarter and will likely take a very short rest here early in the fourth, but he's going to have to come back in soon. There's Kamara with the dunk off the pick and roll. 75-92. Henderson sends it over to Kevon Looney. Looney's double. He has Henderson open for 3, and Scoot Henderson drills the triple. Let's see if Scoot can get hot. Look to propel Portland back in the game. 78-92. Tight defense by Griffin on Caden Ko. Ko looking to make a play. He's going to send it in the corner. Bruce Brown. Bang! What a shot by Brown, beating the shot clock. Great defense the entire possession by Portland, and it doesn't matter. 78-95. Here's Henderson. Takes it himself to the hole. And the lead is back down to 15. Halliburton has Brown wide open at the top of the key for 3. He misses, of course, naturally after hitting a prayer on the last possession. Portland running the floor. Deep 3 is good. It's Ochai Agbaji who drills it 5 feet beyond the line. 12-point game. Portland starting to make a run at this thing. Here's Griffin. He has Henderson wide open. It's good. Great ball movement on that possession by Portland. They needed to use the entire shot clock, but Henderson was open on the wing, and he hits the 3. 88-99, around 4.5 to go. Henderson takes it himself to the cup, and it is within 10. Portland's not going to quit. They're really making a run at this thing. Halliburton inside, pump fake, no good. Halliburton still has played the entire second half, and he looks gassed. Sharpe with the rebound, takes it himself all the way to the hole, as he's in for the dunk. 7-point game now with 3:13 to go. Agbaji out to Scoot Henderson. Henderson with the drive. He's blocked at the rim. What a play by Bol Bol with one of the biggest defensive plays of the night. On the other end, it's Halliburton, tightly guarded by Ochai Agbaji. He gets it to Markkanen, over to Jarris Walker on the wing. He has Bol Bol guarded by Henderson. Indiana is able to create the mismatch, and, well, that's as easy as it gets for Bol Bol. 9-point game once again. Halliburton's running ISO the entire possession, and Agbaji stayed glued at him for the entire 24 seconds. On the other end, it's Khalil Griffin with the dunk off the assist by Scoot. Game is within 7, but there's not a lot of time, only a minute and a half. Here's Halliburton with it, heaves up a prayer. Amen! What a shot by Tyrese Halliburton, as it's a 10-point game, not looking good for the Blazers. Mathurin inside, he's blocked! It's Griffin who makes the play. A dart across the floor from Ayton out to Scoot Henderson for the dunk. 8-point game, shot no good by Halliburton. Ayton with the rebound, he gets it over to Agbaji. He finds Scoot Henderson, who's going to look to make a quick play. Off the screen, Henderson. Mid-ranger is good, and the lead is now down to 6. Portland's already playing the foul game. There's no time to waste. On the inbound, it's Bol, who sends it to Jarris Walker. He would get 2 at the line and would make both. It's an 8-point game. Portland's got to shoot this ball quickly. Here's Henderson out to Sharpe. Sharpe in the corner. Fadeaway 3 is no good. Rebounded by Walker. He gets it to Markkanen, and it is not looking good here for the Trailblazers. Markkanen would make both. 10-point game. Scoot Henderson's going to look to keep his guys in it for a little bit longer as he drills a late 3. 103-110. Bol's going to look to inbound, and he can't find anybody. Eventually gets it to Mathurin. He would make both, and it's a 9-point game. So now Portland's just got to start heaving up junk. Henderson drills a corner 3. What a shot. And the lead is down to 6. This team will not quit. Mathurin's fouled. He would make both. Lead is up to 8. Off the inbound, Scoot Henderson's going to go back to the corner. Heaves up another prayer, and they keep falling. Scoot Henderson has 9 points. in the last 10 seconds of game time. That's unbelievable. Mathurin would make 1 of 2 at the line. Blazers got to push the tempo quickly. It's Griffin out to Henderson. Can Scoot Henderson possibly make another one? His shot's no good. Markkanen with the rebound. He's fouled, but realistically, this game is about over. 109-117 is your final. Got to give the Blazers some credit for hanging in there the entire way, but Indiana was the better team here from start to finish. We made a nice push at the end of the game, down by 20 at one point in the fourth quarter, and we brought it as close as, I think, 6 points, but unfortunately, it's not enough. Tyrese Halliburton with 40 points and 10 assists to go with 6 rebounds. He played the entire second half. I think that was a big mistake by Indiana because he was gassed at the end of the game, and I feel like he didn't play to his full capability. But nonetheless, he was still very, very good. Jarris Walker played well, 17 and 10, albeit a little bit inefficient, but he had some big plays, especially in the first half. Markkanen, 14, 6 and 6. Bol had 4 blocks. He was big defensively. As for us, Scoot Henderson did his best to will us back in the game. He had 25 points in the fourth quarter, drilling 6 threes. The rest of the team from deep was 5 of 21, though. Griffin was solid, 16 and 7. Simons only played 14 minutes, and he did not play at all in the fourth quarter. This was not intentional. It's more so just because of the matchup. We needed Ochai Agbaji in as much as possible, along with Khalil Griffin, because we needed their defense on Tyrese Halliburton. That's the only reason why Simons barely played in the second half, because he played well during this game. Agbaji had 13. I don't think the stats do him justice. He was big defensively in the second half to help keep us in the game. Shaedon Sharpe was not good. 11 points, 5 of 15 for the field, 1 of 6 from deep. He did have 6 assists. I like seeing him defer to his teammates more, but as our number 1 scoring option, got to play better than that. And obviously it sucked losing Darius Springer to the injury. He only played 10 minutes. I think we could have really used him because I think he would have been like the perfect player to stop a guy like Jarris Walker or Lauri Markkanen. The Pacers battled with us inside. They battled with us on the glass. They beat us at our own game, and I think that's why they ultimately won. So Darius Springer's ankle injury is not serious. We would keep him out for precautionary reasons against Detroit, but he'll be back in time for the final stretch leading into the All-Star break. We will get offered one more deal before the end of the deadline, and it's kind of an interesting one here from the Bulls. I'm going to say no. Springer ended up bruising his tailbone the final game leading up to the All-Star break, so he's all dinged up now. We ended up going 3-1 in the games we simulated. This team just needs more consistency, though. In our loss against OKC, we had 12 points in the first quarter and 46 in the second. Yeah. We did have a great performance here offensively against Golden State, scoring 141. And overall, we did pretty well during this 5-game road trip, going 3-2. But this team is missing some consistency right now. And going into the second half of the season, I think the issue is that the rotation's too big. I feel like when we had guys hurt, we were in more of a groove, as crazy as that is. And I think that's because there were less mouths to feed. There were less guys in the rotation. I think we need to whittle this rotation down going into the postseason from 11 guys to 9. Realistically, probably only one of Russell Westbrook or Dante Branch get big-time minutes the rest of the way. We should probably look to only really get one of those bigs consistent minutes off the bench between Stewart and Kevon Looney. We need to be smarter with how we allocate our minutes, and we need to give our best guys more playing time on the floor. With our 3-3 start here in February, the Rockets are getting past us quickly, while other teams like the Spurs are starting to catch up, and this 2 seed might not be as locked up as we thought it was. Nonetheless, I hope you guys enjoyed the episode. Let me know what you thought of the trade deadline down below in the comments section. Make sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel if you are new. Peace out.